everybody? It's your girl Mika, and you're watching the Red Cup Podcast, where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks because this is where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. And today is Thursday, and it's a lot going on. Welcome, 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 welcome. What's going on, everybody that's watching at home, everybody in the chat, everybody that's going to watch on the replay? Thank you so much. I appreciate you for tuning in, and I appreciate you for supporting the platform. Welcome. What's going on, everybody in the chat? Tyrone, Alicia, Loud and Clear, Mandy, Outlaw. What's going on, Outlaw? Carol, your car. Brock. Yeah, that says Brock. Jesse, what's going on, everybody? How are y'all doing? Tech Des, Nick, Lord Jammer, what's going on? What Candace has? Yeah, man, look, we about to get into it. Because we got a lot to cover. What's going on, everybody? Oh, my goodness. I see y'all starting already. Macravius, what's up? Yeah, we got a lot to cover. Everybody who's been talking about the whole Candace Owens and the French president, Macron, okay? Everybody's talking about him and his wife, allegedly. Him and his wife, going against Candace Owens, suing. All right. They are suing, and they're tired of Candace Owens talking about them, but we'll get to that. We got a lot of stories that we're going to try to get all of this stuff in here because it's a lot. Like when I tell you guys, I really do have to start doing like live streams, maybe just for members only, because there's so much I'd be wanting to dig into, but we don't have enough time. Like I want to dig into a lot of it, but it's like a deep dive. So maybe I have to do one of those long live streams, and maybe it'll just be for like members only or something like that. So yeah, we got to start doing that. What's going on, Jerry? Hey, lovely. What's going on, Kelly? Hey, boo. When I tell you guys, it's just a lot going on. It's a lot going on. So really quick, thank you to everybody in the chat that's pulling up. I'm going to go ahead and get started because I want to try to cover as much as I can. Okay, but I do thank everybody for pulling up. All right, so let's go ahead and get started because I know a bunch of y'all are going to start coming in. All right, here we go. Now, you guys, you know how I like to do it. I like to start out with just, some up-to-date stuff, some things that we follow. And one of the things that I follow that's getting on my last nerve that I'm tired of following is the story of the Maryland dad, not so Maryland dad, but the Maryland dad from El Salvador. Yes, ABREGO GARCIA. You guys, he's back in the news, and I'm sick of it. Now, ABREGO GARCIA is back in the news because the judges are working together, okay? These liberal judges are out of control. A judge decided that ABREGO GARCIA should be able to go home. I don't know who decided he should be able to go home, not his real home, but his home here in Maryland. They decided that ABREGO should go home, and then another judge decided that the Trump administration shouldn't deport him. Like, you guys, we can't make this stuff up. I want you to see this story for yourself. Here we go.
Heard a major update in the case of the Maryland man, Kilmar ABREGO GARCIA. He's the illegal migrant sent to the maximum security prison in El Salvador for a while and later returned to the U.S. to face human trafficking charges. He pleaded not guilty. Today, a federal judge in Tennessee ordered the release of ABREGO GARCIA from custody while he awaits trial. Now, a separate judge in Maryland ruling shortly after that immigration authorities, ICE, must allow him to return to Maryland, blocking the Trump administration from detaining him upon his release from criminal custody in Tennessee. So they can't pick him up. That same judge ruling ICE must also provide 72 hours notice before deporting him to another country. Joining me now is former acting DHS Deputy Secretary Ken Cuccinelli.
Now, before we get to the former deputy secretary, okay, I want to say this. we're going to get into it later about Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump and all this other stuff. But you mean to tell me they can believe hearsay? They can believe, scribble on a piece of paper about Donald Trump. They can believe all of this stuff, right? But they don't believe a man that was caught on camera with women and children in a car with just a toothbrush. Okay, no luggage, coming from Tennessee to going to Maryland. No luggage. Had extra rows in a car that don't have that many rows in the car. And again, had girls in the car. They don't believe that he was trafficking. They don't believe that he's a MS-13 member with tattoos. Like, there are physical things that you can see. They don't believe any of that. But Donald Trump, they can pull stuff out of thin air and just say, we believe it. When I tell you the Dems get on my last nerve, they get on my last nerve. A liberal is a liberal is a liberal, and the mind is gone. Okay, the mind is gone. The bald-headed reasoning is at an all-time high. When a man that's actually trafficking women, you guys are going out of your way for, but the United States president, you got smoke for, and you have absolutely nothing on him. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Ken, shocked he's out?
Oh, I am shocked he's out. I mean, this isn't just about the human trafficking charges where he was caught more or less dead to rights, but the full context of this guy's rap sheet isn't somebody you would let out easily. I mean, you're supposed to judge a flight risk. I can hardly think of a more likely flight risk, and yet this judge lets him walk. And of course, within minutes, the Maryland judge, Obama appointee, puts an immigration order in place to try to block ICE from doing their job. This is essentially using a criminal proceeding to block immigration enforcement, and there's nothing in the law that allows that. The federal government can do both of those things at the same time, mean they can criminally prosecute him and they can process him or remove him on an immigration basis at the same time. But these judges are trying to stand in the way of that.
Right. Just keep in mind, he was originally sent to El Salvador, where he belongs. He got here illegally, and he wasn't allowed to stay there because of fear of a rival gang, who, by the way, has since been scooped up in El Salvador, no longer a threat to that country. Now it's one of the safest in the region. And Kilmore Abrego Garcia is a despicable guy. I mean, domestic abuse. He's been accused of unlawful transportation of undocumented aliens. Remember the video that we saw in 2022 of a van full of people? He's got $1,400 worth of cash. Then we have two witnesses by the government saying he's part of a human smuggling operation, but that wasn't good enough for this Obama judge.
Nope.
And that was under the Biden administration. So, this is not like it was a Trump administration story. That all happened under the Biden administration. And this guy isn't a Maryland man. He's an El Salvador man who invaded this country and doesn't belong here. I will say this, in light of recent Supreme Court rulings, the only thing I think that is correct in the Maryland judge's ruling is the notion that under the Supreme Court ruling, this guy would have to be given 72 hours notice before being removed from the country. But the judge is trying to block him from being removed from the country at all. And there's no authority on the judge's part, in my view, to do that.
Absolutely none. Absolutely none. That judge should be disrobed, disbarred, done. Okay? Just like the rest of these judges. Because at the end of the day, why is this man allowed to stay? All right? And on top of that, they don't go this hard for American citizens. Like, I don't care what it is. Okay? I don't care what it is with American citizens. They don't go this hard. Like, our tax dollars are going to this. It's so annoying. But I wanted to keep you guys up to date on this. And shout out to your car, because he also keeps me up to date on the Maryland dad that's not a Maryland dad that's from El Salvador. So, anywho, that is what's going on with Abrego, a.k.a. Kilmore. Now, another person here we like to keep you guys up to date with over here is one of our favorite, Respucia. Yep, Respucia. Better known as LETICIA James. LETICIA James is the Attorney General in New York. However, LETICIA James is just having an uphill battle this year, okay? She got her own stuff going on. She's still going after Trump. She's still dealing with these illegal migrants that her and the Democrats in New York wanted here, and now there's more fallout. I want you guys to see what's actually going on with LETICIA James right now. Here we go.
Of course, at the center of this legal fight is whether undocumented immigrants should continue to access some federal health and education benefits that they currently qualify for, which the Trump administration wants to restrict. Why should undocumented immigrants be able to use these services like Head Start?
I want you guys to understand what you just heard. Undocumented immigrants are using services like Head Start. Why is your child using Head Start? Why is your child here? Why? You're illegal. Why are we talking about enrolling children from an illegal in Head Start?
Thank you for having me. This program has existed for over 30 years. It's a bipartisan program which was created to provide essential services, key social services to all Americans and all individuals. It's important that individuals understand that the terms of these grants were changed in the middle of the grant period. It's nothing more than an attempt by this administration to terminate programs that millions of individuals have relied upon in order to advance his cruel immigration policies here in these United States. We have relied upon these programs. We have relied upon the interpretation of the law, and they changed it midstream. And some of these programs will close. And my answer to this executive order, to this misinterpretation of the law, is that individuals who are hungry should not have to prove or provide identification. Children who need Head Start should not have to prove their identification. Individuals who need a place to sleep should not have to prove their status.
They absolutely need to prove their identity. They absolutely need to prove their status. They absolutely need to prove that they are starving, okay? Because I can tell you right now, this was, we had this at my elementary school, okay? So they're like, okay, free lunch. My parents had money, but on pizza day, the cafeteria pizza was good. I wanted to eat. I would go eat. It wasn't free. But had they had a system in place, they would have stopped kids like me who just wanted extra food. I ain't gonna lie. Who just wanted extra food from eating that, okay? But that's something different, right? However, imagine if I'm not even supposed to be here, and now I done snuck into school, and now I'm taking up resources from children who are actually hungry, all right? United States citizens, children who are actually hungry. And on top of that, there's supposed to be a form that you fill out. I forget the name of the form, but there's a form that you fill out, and they see if you qualify. Okay. Now, with that qualification comes your social security number and all that other good stuff. So with that being said, you would find out that this person is illegal. I bet your bottom dollar that New York took that off. New York took that off. Okay. So now you get to find out who people are again, because federally, you're supposed to be able to look at these things and find out who people are. And I guarantee you, New York took it off. And now Trump put it back on. And now they're like, oh my God, we're going to get found out. These people that are illegal immigrants aren't going to be able to eat. They're sure not. Sorry. There are children in New York, preferably in AOC's district, that are poor, that are hungry. Okay. They need to eat first. If we're going to feed anybody, we're going to feed the kids that are actual United States citizens. Their parents are actually, here legally. Like, I can't, like, this is annoying. This is annoying to me. And you got to watch the language. The Democrats like to use things like individuals, and then they'll, throw that in with Americans. They'll throw it in with Americans when they're not talking about Americans. They'll say things like individuals, all persons, all people. So, like, who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Because this already applies for Americans. So you don't have to tell us. So who are you actually talking about? And that's what I mean. Like, she's being disingenuous. she's being disingenuous. So she's talking about early childhood, behavioral health, adult services. Like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Absolutely not.
hungry should not have to prove or provide identification. Children who need Head Start should not have to prove their identification. Individuals who need a place to sleep should not have to prove their status. Individuals who are running from domestic violence should not have to prove their status. It's important that individuals understand that this is nothing more than a cruel effort to advance an immigration priority of this administration, and will have a devastating impact on all of the states that have filed this action, as well as all of the individuals who relied upon it each and every day simply to survive.
If you are experiencing DV and you are an illegal migrant, I'm sorry that happened to you. Okay, because I don't think nobody should be beat upon. However, if we send you back and he's still here, he can't get you. It is what it is. I'm tired of the covering, right? Because American citizens don't even get this. There have been plenty of people that are victims of DV that Americans don't even help. And you hear about these women, you know, that pop up and they're not being helped. Okay, like it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I don't even want to hear it. But those are the things that we are dealing with. These are the updates. Okay. And that's what the Attorney General in New York plans to spend her time doing, rather than spend her time fighting for Americans. Okay. But we know she doesn't care about the law. We know she doesn't care at all. You know, she has her own legal problems going on where she might get felonies, just like, you know, Donald Trump. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about ABREGO GARCIA being allowed to stay again. And let me know what you think about Attorney General Miss James here allowing illegal migrants to be on our school rolls, eating up all the food, getting all the assistance, getting all the bedding. Like New York is probably second to California when it comes to these illegal migrants. I swear, honestly and truly. So you guys get down in the comments. Let me know what you think about that. All right. I just wanted to open up the show with those, you know, updates, because those are some of the things and the people that we talk about here a lot. So when I see an update, I want to update you guys. All right. Let's see who else then rode in the building. What's going on, Spaces? What's going on, Q? What's going on? Let's see. Nick J. Sean. What is it? Shauna. What's going on, Shauna? What's going on? Let's see. Lake. What's going on? What's going on, Katrina? All right. I see you guys in here. Hey, Miss Jerry. Hey, Scoop. All right. All right. Quick fix. All right. All right. So you guys, let's go ahead and get into it, because we got a lot to talk about. Let's go ahead. All right. So I want to talk about Obama and his treason. Okay. Here's the thing. If you guys don't really know, Obama has a lot going on. When I say he has a lot going on, he has a lot going on. And a lot of people don't know that Obama has so many scandals. And when I say a lot of scandals, I do mean a lot of scandals. All right. A lot of people, they loved Obama. They loved Obama so much that they can't come to grips that Obama is actually a scammer. Like, he scammed all of y'all that voted for him. I understand why some of y'all did, but everybody that voted for him, they got scammed. Okay. He happens to be literally, and I do mean literally, the worst president. And some people think he's articulate and things like that. And he is. He's charismatic. You know, he can, as Joe Biden say, he speaks so well. He's so clean. You know, one of those. However, the reason why I feel that he's the worst president is because through Barack Obama, everything was allowed to get in. Everything that the deep state wanted to do, everything that the rhinos and the Republican side wanted to do, everything that the neocon Democrats wanted to do, they got through with Obama. When I tell you he was a sleeper cell, he was a sleeper cell. All right. And so because I remember all of the things that I've researched about Barack Obama, when I saw this, I immediately knew what it was. Immediately. Like, you could not tell me that I didn't know. I didn't already know this. Okay. Barry is absolutely one of the worst things and one of the worst people that the United States and its citizens could have let in the government. Okay. And we're dealing with that fallout now. Most of us here were children when Barack Obama and, Bush, his cousin, were doing all these nefarious things. All right. Most of us have only voted in the last 3 elections. Okay. From 1 election to 3. That's most of us. Some of us here, y'all may be a little older, so you might even seen more. Okay. You can look back to Bill Clinton and his foolery. However, Barack Obama continues to be engulfed in American politics. Like, we cannot shake him. And that's because he's part of a deeper part of the deep state. However, I want to go ahead and get into what is being claimed about Obama right now. And that is he committed treason. All right. So I want to bring up Jesse Waters because I thought he had a great program and great commentary on this. Here we go.
Fox News alert, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, releasing a bombshell report today that shows a conspiracy by a sitting president, Barack Obama, and his intel agencies to sabotage the president-elect, Donald Trump, brainwash the electorate, and undermine the legitimacy of an election.
There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't.
Gabbard got her hands on a House intel report that's been locked away in a CIA vault for almost a decade. Investigators spent over 2,000 hours looking into how the Russia hoax was born, interviewing 20 CIA and FBI officials. And it turns out that the Obama administration doctored the intelligence to make it look like Putin and Trump stole the election. A month after Trump beat Hillary, Barack Obama wasn't satisfied with his intelligence reporting and ordered his CIA director to create a new assessment of how Russia interfered with the election. This was a highly unusual move. John Brennan handpicked 5 CIA analysts to write the assessment, and they were siloed. None of them knew what the other was doing. And only one analyst was in charge of drafting this report. There was nothing routine about this, and it was a rush job to publish before Trump was sworn in. Nothing was coordinated with the other intelligence agencies either. Basically, this was home cooking for Barack Obama. There were 4 key elements from the assessment that were repeated over and over again and formed the basis of the Russia hoax and the Robert Mueller witch hunt. 1, that Vladimir Putin wanted Donald Trump to win. 2, Putin took action to help Trump win. 3, the Russians had blackmail on Trump. That was the Steele dossier. And 4, that the Russians tried colluding with the Trump campaign. None of any of this was ever true. There was no reliable intelligence to support any of these allegations. Senior CIA officials repeatedly refused to traffic in these allegations, but they were repeatedly overruled by CIA Director Brennan and FBI Director Comey, who insisted that they be pushed, even without verifiable evidence.
Now, here's the kicker with all of this. If you understand the relationship of politics, you'll understand that the Clintons, preferably President Bill Clinton, were friends with Putin. When I tell you they have the nicest things to say back in the 90s and 2000s about Putin, they have the nicest things to say. Okay? And if I have time, I'll go look for it and put it up here. When I tell you that they were all friends, they were all friends. Like literally, Bill Clinton had a town hall back when he was still president. He had a town hall where he sat directly across from Putin. And they were just talking like they were best buddies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I've hung out and, you know, we're good. And Now, if Donald Trump were to do that today, they will say what Ratchet Crockett and Wig always say. Oh, he's palling around with Putin. But yet, that's what they do. Anytime a Democrat says something, best believe they've already done it. I keep telling you guys this. But Clinton and Putin were good. And I do mean good. So that's one thing. So again, he definitely wanted the Clintons to win. That's why they put it on Donald Trump. Go figure. Right? And then you have the whole thing with Barack Obama. Barack Obama is the operative in itself. Okay? He's a deep state operative in itself. But with all that set aside, just as a president, why are you involved in any of this? Why? You're on your way out. And then on top of that, when you're out, you're still involved. That's how you know Barack Obama goes deeper than just being president, because he shouldn't have been involved in any of this. You're not even president at this point. Wow.
The Obama administration cherry-picked the intelligence, lied about their sources, misquoted sources, didn't corroborate their claims, suppressed intelligence that ran counter to their narratives, and even used anonymous internet postings. Rank and file CIA admitted what they were doing violated their own tradecraft standards. There was a massive pressure campaign that came right from the top. CIA analysts say they received unusual directives from political appointees, the CIA director, and Obama himself. This is how the Russia hoax was born.
Donald Trump knows that the Russians helped him win in 2016.
Putin hated Secretary Clinton so much that the flip side of that coin was he had a clear preference for the person running against the person he hated so much.
It was Russia in a very systematic way and tried to interfere in the election and to try to advance the prospects of Donald Trump being elected.
This was such a malicious disinformation campaign perpetrated on the American people that at one point, 60% of Democrats believed the Russians hacked our voting machines to help Trump win the White House. What this report actually shows is that the Russians just wanted to create chaos and undermine Americans' faith in democracy. Solid intelligence suggested that Vladimir Putin didn't care who won. He had no preference. But like most people, expected Hillary to win and had a little docket of compromising dirt on her, dirt that he never released. Now, if Putin wanted Trump to win, why didn't Putin drop the dirt?
Because he's
Or
from
high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers. Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for Trump.
Now, if Clinton was on tranquilizers like the Russians believed, why didn't they leak it to help Trump win?
How credible was the information about Hillary Clinton's power?
All I have seen is what the intelligence committee have reported through their investigation. I think the underlying point there is that we understand from intelligence what Russia said that they had. And the important point here is that if they were trying to influence the election, as President Obama and James Clapper and John Brennan, everybody said they were doing in order to support Donald Trump's election, they would have released the most damning of that information.
Obama and his spy chiefs knew that Putin didn't prefer Trump over Hillary.
Of course not. And I had a little time. While I was just sitting here, right? I want you guys to see this. Give me 2 seconds. So when I tell you that Bill Clinton, all right, Bill Clinton and his minions, they all know about what he does. Here we go. I want you guys to see this. So if you guys see it on the screen,
do things which make it impossible.
Like utterances.
Smart and remarkably, we had.
So this is the town hall I was talking about. He's talking about Putin here.
Mr. Putin he's very smart.
You know him better than most people.
Yeah, I do.
What was he like behind closed doors, away from, the sort of the public utterances?
Smart and remarkably, we had a really good, blunt relationship.
How blunt?
Brutally blunt.
Ever fisticuffs?
No, but I think, I think the right strategy most of the time but it's frustrating to people in your line of work. You should be brutally honest with people in private. And then if you want them to help you, try to avoid embarrassing them in public.
Right.
Now, sometimes they do things which make it impossible for you to keep quiet. But by and large, I found all the people I dealt with appreciated it if I told them the truth. How I honestly felt and what our interests were and what our objectives were. And they also appreciated it when I didn't kick them around in public for as long as I couldn't kick them around. So I that's my experience. And
did Putin ever renege on a personal agreement he made to you?
He did not.
So behind closed doors, he could be trusted.
He kept his word in all the deals we made.
Oh, really? So again, with that being said, why would Putin go after Hillary Clinton? Like, he had all that information, but him and his buddy O'Pal right there, okay? Him and Bill Clinton are buddy O'Pals. They are friends. The media, and you see who it is, right? It's CNN. It's CNN, okay? So again, why would Putin favor Donald Trump when his friend is running? His friend's wife? The people that he knows? The people that he's used to hanging out with? Like, you can't make this stuff up, okay? Like, half of the people think this stuff is buried, but it's really not. So now it makes sense, again, why Barry, aka Obama, had to come up with all this stuff. Because at the end of the day, they're already friends with this man. They already know this man, okay? He is on their side, which is the reason why he didn't release any of that stuff on Hillary Clinton.
Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
Even 2 years later, after the election, Barack Obama was still pushing a hoax he knew wasn't true. And he knew it wasn't true because he helped manufacture it.
They're undermining our alliances, cozying up to Russia. What happened to the Republican Party? They're cozying up to the former head of the KGB. Actively blocking legislation that would defend our elections from Russian attack. What happened?
Now, I don't know if it's possible to indict a former president for actions he took while in office. I'm not a lawyer, proudly. But Brennan, Comey, and others may have severe liability. Trey Gowdy says we know for a fact that Brennan committed perjury when he lied to Congress.
Director Brennan, do you know who commissioned the Steele dossier?
I don't.
You know if the Bureau ever relied on the Steele dossier as part of any court filings, applications?
I have no awareness.
Did the CIA rely on it?
No.
Why not?
Oh my
because
God.
we didn't. It wasn't part of the corpus of intelligence information that we had. It was not in any way used as a basis for the intelligence community assessment that was done. It was not.
No, that's a lie. Whatever happens to these guys is not revenge. it's accountability. And it's time for people to pay the price.
And that's a fact. And that's a fact. So I wanted you guys to see that, in its totality, because I wanted you to see exactly what goes on. All right. They play, the media plays games with people nowadays, and that's partly Obama's fault, because Obama has, repealed many things that protect American citizens, including, the repealing that American citizens, that the American government can do propaganda on its own people. Okay. Obama did that as well. So everything that you see is propaganda. That's literally what Obama is doing. Because why are you here after you're not even president? Why are you still interfering in what goes on? You're not president. And that's because Barack Obama goes deeper than the regular person, the regular politician. He's a part of the whole deep state and all of that. So I hope that, Trump and this administration really gets down to it, because at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you like this. At the end of the day, if they don't deliver on this after what's going on with the Epstein files, Trump might as well wipe that whole administration out of here. Okay? Because there's one thing with the Epstein files, because there are so many people, implicated in it. There's a lot of moving pieces, but to not do what he needs to do with this right here, with Obamagate, whatever you want to call it, treason, whatever you want to call it, that's going to be something else. When we already know Hillary's guilty, we already know Loretta Lynch is guilty, we already know Eric Holder's guilty, right? Obama, you got all of this going on. He has to do something. So we shall see. So you guys let me know what you think about all of that, because I clearly think that, Obama, I clearly think that Obama has been, hiding for the most part the last, few years, because once they got Trump up out of here, they figured they were just going to run the gamut. Okay. They disgraced Trump. Trump had the felonies, all of that, and they were trying to put him away in jail. So they figured they could just go on with everything, literally. And now they're not able to, and Trump really has a chance. So I do hope that, he pulls this out for the American people. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about all of that. Also, let me know what you think about finding out, if you didn't know, finding out that tidbit fact that Bill Clinton and Putin, okay, were the real ones palling around, as Ratchet Crockett likes to say. Okay. Bill Clinton and the Democrats were palling around with Putin. So you guys get down in the comments, let me know what you think. I want to recognize our super chats. Thank you, Marquavius, for the $5 super chat. About to drive home. You drive home at 5 o'clock? Okay. About to drive home. For all you 20 somethings in the chat, we about to recruit you. Federal employees is up. Look, what department is the federal government hiring for? Because everybody I see, they're getting, laid off. So what department? Maybe some people might want to. Thank you so much. I appreciate your super chat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you way more for the $20 super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. What's going on, James Robinson? What's going on, Artifacts? Isaiah? What's going on, you guys? Thank you for pulling up. All right. So let's move on. Let's get into CNN. Okay. Let's get into CNN and all of their bias. Because they're getting on my nerves. Like, they're clearly getting on my last nerve. Now, if you don't know, CNN and all of their biases, they have just been doing the most. All right, they come up with any type of stories. They say whatever they want about the president, and if he retaliates, if he talks back, if he does anything, he's in the wrong. He's definitely in the wrong, right? However, CNN goes about saying what they want about the president. They're doing it right now, And they continue to push a narrative that personally, I think the liberal media are in cahoots with the Democrats and the deep state and all of that other stuff because they never actually present the full story. And the Democrats to me, along with the mainstream media, are creating this narrative around not only the Epstein story, but they're creating a narrative to just say that everything they say is true. Everything that they're bringing it up for a reason, because everything that they're doing is for the betterment of the American people. But they don't tell you anything. They don't tell you anything. I haven't heard one story from CNN that was an actual full story. Okay? And even when they go into the press rooms, they're so disingenuous. They're so disingenuous. But I wanted to bring up this first story here. Well, it's not really a story. I wanted to bring up Chris Cuomo and what he had to say about the liberal media, or the media in general, and the Democrats and liberals talking about Donald Trump and this whole Jeffrey Epstein story. All right, here we go.
They had this information for a long time. I do not want to hear Bernie Sanders or AOC or Schumer or Jeffries or anybody on the left talking about Epstein, because they're only doing it for one reason. And it's not because of this righteousness of accountability for people who victimize kids. I give the MAGA folks who want disclosure that high ground. Okay? They had this information for a long time. I do not want to hear Bernie Sanders or AOC or Schumer or Jeffries or anybody on the left talking about Epstein, because they're only doing it for one reason. And it's not because of this righteousness of accountability for people who victimize kids. I give the MAGA folks who want disclosure that high ground.
Sorry, you guys, I was on mute. And that's because we're the actual people that actually cared about everything that was going on. We're the only ones that are actually here for the actual information. Everybody else is just here because they want to embarrass Donald Trump, or they think that there might be something on Donald Trump. Thank you guys in the chat for telling me I was muted. But at the end of the day, we already know that Donald Trump used to be friends with Jeffrey Epstein. It's not a secret. Like, it's not a secret. However, they like to go ahead and put that stuff out there as if it's going to make a difference in Donald Trump doing what he needs to do for the American people. Now, are there parts of the MAGA group that want these so bad that they're, willing to burn it down? Yeah, there are. And frankly, I think the government should be transparent. But I do understand why they may hold certain things back, because a lot of the people that are like really implemented are probably major players in the United States economy. I assure you that's part of it. Okay. But again, they're saying that, Trump is also on the list, which I don't disagree with. He probably is, because he was friends with him. But as far as having something on him stating that he did something nefarious, I doubt it. I highly doubt it. And that is because Donald Trump would have been under the jail. The Dems are not playing with that man. If they can get him, they're going to get him. Okay. So I want to move on to how CNN shows they're biased. All right. CNN decided that when Ms. Tosi was talking, that they would cut her off. All right. And Donald Trump has always talked about how the fake news media spins a narrative. Well, instead of letting, CNN letting their audience decide for themselves whether they believe Ms. Tosi or not, CNN decided to talk right over her. All right. Here we go.
Multiple intelligence community assessments released in the months leading up to the November 2016 election concluded that Russia had neither the intent nor capability to impact the outcome of the U.S. election. On December 5th.
We've been listening there to the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, continuing on what has now been a multi-day effort, not only with public statements like this, but release of documents to attempt to back up the quite extreme allegation that President Obama is guilty of treason and that he worked in some sort of conspiracy with Hillary Clinton, et cetera, in the assessment by the intelligence community at the time that Russia interfered in the 2016 election.
Multiple intelligence community assessments.
So they let her talk right up into the point where she started doing details. So she said December 5th, and they just started talking. Like they're talking about absolute nonsense while she's actually giving information. Okay. Like you cannot talk over Ms. Rogue. All right. Ms. Rogue has it going on. She has the information and she knows what she's talking about. That's why CNN didn't want their viewers to hear it. Now, as much as I think liberals don't have a clue of what's going on, a lot of the times the media doesn't even want to take a chance that their audience may pick up on it. And that's why they were talking over Ms. Gabbard. Okay. They talked all over that woman. When I say all over, they just talked. Talk. It was absolutely crazy. However, I want to get into now the media showing their bias, okay, especially CNN with Ms. Gabbard and the White House staff, okay, the White House secretary, press secretary. I'm telling you, the press secretary, she's awesome because she has the quick snapbacks, like she claps back at them real quick. I want you guys to see how this went down with the media, especially old girl from CNN. Here we go.
Caitlin. Thank you, Caroline. Two questions for Director Gabbard. Just on this, Director Gabbard, you referenced the past intelligence reports and assessments on this, including that 2017 one that was signed off, as Ed noted, by every Republican on the Senate Intelligence Community, including the acting chair of the time, now Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who said in a statement that they did not find any evidence of Russian collusion, but they did find, however, is very troubling, and they found irrefutable evidence of Russian meddling. One, are you saying that he's wrong in that statement that he made then? And secondly, what would you say to people who believe that you're only releasing these documents now to improve your standing with the president after he said that your intelligence assessments were wrong?
Well, first, I want to correct something that you stated, which was citing the Senate Intelligence Committee's report as being one and the same. I think you said the intelligence community. The Senate Intelligence Committee has a very different function than the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. The evidence and the intelligence that has been declassified and released is irrefutable. I'm going to let Caroline speak to Secretary Rubio.
I'll speak to both questions. First, on Secretary Rubio, he put out a statement in 2020 following that Senate Intelligence Committee report, and he said what they found is troubling. We found irrefutable evidence of Russian meddling, which the Director of National Intelligence just confirmed for all of you, that Russia was trying to sow distrust and chaos. But what's the outrage in this that Secretary Rubio did not say at the time, the Democrats were saying at the time, is the fact that the intelligence community was concocting this narrative that the president colluded with the Russians, that the president's son was holding secret meetings with the Russians, all of these lies that were never true. And he also said at that time, we discovered deeply troubling actions taken by the FBI under Comey, particularly their acceptance and willingness to rely on the Steele dossier without verifying its methodology or sourcing. The Steele dossier that many outlets in this room ran as the gospel truth, and it was cooked up and paid for by the Clinton campaign. As for your second question, Caitlin, I think who is saying that she would release this to try to boost her standing with the president? Who has said that?
Well, the president has publicly undermined her when it came to Iran. He said she was wrong. He told me that she didn't know what she was talking about. That was on Air Force One.
That wasn't a question. The question that ma'am, Caitlin, that wasn't a question. Answered the question, because Caitlin likes to, no, answer the question. Okay. That wasn't a question, Caitlin. Answer the question. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Like Caroline came in there, like she had her kids in the back, like, no, I got stuff to do. Give me the mic. Give me the mic. That's what she did. I love it.
No,
on camera.
The only people who are suggesting that the director of national intelligence would release evidence to try to boost her standing with the president are the people in this room who constantly try to sow distrust and chaos amongst the president's cabinet, and it is not working. I will just answer your question directly. I am with the president of the United States every day. He has the utmost confidence in Director Gabbard. He always has. He continues to, and that is true of his entire cabinet, who is all working as one team to deliver on the promises this president made.
I know you heard that. Okay. So at the end of the day, she knew what she was talking about. And that's what I mean. Okay. That's what I mean. I love the women that work for Donald Trump. They're classy. All right. They're classy, but they know what they're talking about. I love it. I love it. Hands up for Caroline Levitt. Okay. I love it. Now, I want to move in to the portion here of the delusional people. Okay. The delusional Dems that Cuomo was talking about. All right. And what Cuomo is talking about is the fact that the Democrats had this information, all right, of Jeffrey Epstein, of everything that's going on with Obama, Russia Gate, this, that, and the third, okay, Obama scandals. They had all of this stuff. And if you guys don't recall, I'll recall it for you, all right? Cloudy Hostin here, better known as Sunny Hostin of The View, aka the Golden Girls, they decided that last year when, everybody was talking about we're going to release the Epstein files, they decided that, the files, who cares about the files? The files are about Epstein. Who cares? Now, all of a sudden, they care. But that wasn't what they were saying last year. And that's why I agree with Cuomo's statement of the Democrats are full of it. Because this was her sentiment last year.
Wednesday's release marks the first set of documents related to the case to become unsealed. My understanding is that more are anticipated to be revealed in coming days. What's important for us to note is we shouldn't be repeating names that are on the list, because just because your name has not on the list, but in the documents, just because your name is on the documents doesn't mean that you have done anything criminally irresponsible or illegal or civilly irresponsible.
Or that you were a client.
Or that you were a client.
Right.
It only really, these documents as I read them, only reflect Epstein's sexual assaults of women and his sexual behavior. So I think that
And Ghislaine also?
And Ghislaine.
Oh.
And so being named in this suit does not equate to being accused of wrongdoing. And I think that is extremely important because conspiracy theorists seem to not understand or enjoy facts. Wednesday.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. So now you guys, when they get on The View, okay, when you go and watch the Golden Girls and they say, yeah, Trump is running from these files because, he's on them, to say, no. Last year, you said that we shouldn't be naming names, and it absolutely is a conspiracy. Okay, you are a conspiracy theorist if you say that just because your name is on this list that you obviously did something. Okay. That's what she said. That's exactly what she says. And that's why I tell you, if a liberal is talking about it, they've already done it. Okay. They're doing the most when they've already said that we should disregard all of this. The Golden Girls have put this, they stamped this a long time ago. They said, this is a nothing burger, right? So why are we spinning our wheels on it? You guys said it was a nothing burger when you thought it was just going to be the Democrats getting revealed. And now we need to talk about it. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up, all right? And so when I look at all this stuff, I'm saying, okay, what do the Democrats want, right? What do the Democrats want? And lo and behold, the Democrats, they want to have a say in all of this because they think they can hang something on Donald Trump. So continuing with the Golden Girls, here is Whoopi going on to say, okay, well, you want to say Obama, did something. You said Obama would be protected just like you got protected. Like they play a game. They play a game. They play a dirty game. But here is Whoopi talking about President Obama being protected from what President Trump and the Trump administration is accusing him of.
A sitting president just accused a former president of treason. Now, do people realize how serious an allegation this is? And for me, didn't the Supreme Court, under the guidance of this president, say that presidents have immunity? So that would mean that nothing Obama did, because you didn't say no, that only you have immunity. You said presidents. So this means you have no right to try to take him to court because he did what he did as president. So how does that work? Is it only you who is clear, or are they all clear? In which case, President Biden might be, kicking some new stuff up to you too. Because if you say nobody has immunity, or everybody, you have to decide which way you're going to go. A sitting president just accused a former president of treason. Now, do people realize?
When I tell you, Whoopi and the Golden Girls are on my last nerve, okay? Because here it is. Last year, they were saying different things. Last year, he shouldn't have immunity. He shouldn't have immunity. Now you want to bring it up. Oh, he has immunity. Oh, my God. My God. They make my head hurt, okay? Because they're not genuine people. They're a bunch of liars. And on top of that, they will do anything to protect this man. Okay. Him, Joe Biden, all the people that are actually PDF files. Yeah. All those people, they go out of their way to protect. They go out of their way to protect them. But they don't go out of their way to actually protect the actual victims. Okay. They haven't talked to one victim. Not one. Not one. They only want to protect these people. I think Donald Trump should ask Whoopi for his money back. Okay? Because Whoopi used to not only get loans from Donald Trump, she used to also, play at some of his venues. Like, he's helped that woman a lot. And now she sits and look as deranged as she looks and just spews lies. And I mean, the derangement is so high. It's so high. But that's what they want to do. We'll allow them to do it. Now, here is the mainstream media. And they just want to keep this going on and on and on. When I tell you, it was so much stuff. It was so many people talking about this. It's just annoying. But the reason why I want to bring this video here, the reason why I want to bring this up, which is Jen Psaki, who's an awful journalist, okay, who's an awful reporter, she has an awful show, okay? If it was on YouTube, you wouldn't watch that either, okay? Her ratings are just in the toilet. But Jen Psaki, she decides to bring Representative Summer Lee on there. Now, if you don't know who Summer Lee is Sheila Lee's daughter. And if you don't know who Sheila Lee is, Representative Sheila Lee was the one who was talking about the HR 40 and reparations. They never do reparations, but that's who she is. Okay. And now bald-headed Ayanna Pressley has taken that over, has taken that quote unquote fight over. However, she had her on here because the oversight committee decided that they were going to press for these Epstein files. So here is Summer Lee talking about pressing for the Epstein files after they spent the last 4 years not pressing for the Epstein files. Here we go.
Now by Pennsylvania Congresswoman Summer Lee, who you just saw earlier, who introduced the subpoena today. She's the ranking member on the Oversight Subcommittee on Federal Law Enforcement. It's great to be here. You've had a hell of a day, so thank you so much for being here. So a lot has happened today, and I just tried to outline it. The full Oversight Committee said is going ahead with the subpoena. What happens next?
Well, next, after Comer signs it, right? He said it. He has to sign it. He signed the one for Maxwell within 24 hours. So he says that we expect it. Then the DOJ has to release those files to the Federal Law Enforcement Ranking Subcommittee, to the minority and majority, and we go from there. But right now, what we asked for were the unredacted, complete files. At the end of the day, if someone has participated in child sex trafficking, I don't care if they're a prince or a president or if they're anybody in between, they should be held accountable. They were just trying to make this a both sides thing to make up for the fact that they were being hypocrites, that they said that this is what they want. You saw, right? We read off all of the members of the subcommittee who called very publicly for these files to be released. We saw that they ran on this in the last election, from Trump on down to all of his folks. They all ran on this. So they're just trying to distract from the fact that they're being hypocrites, that they know that they're choosing to protect Donald Trump over the very victims that they keep giving lip service to, that they're choosing to protect Donald Trump over transparency for the American people that they're calling for. They're very based in all Americans of all different parties. And that's really what that was about.
If you got through all that nonsense, she's saying that that's what they're going to do. They're going to get transparency for the American people, even though they spent the last 4 years not being transparent at all. But now all of a sudden that the MAGA base decided they wanted transparency, the Democrats shall follow because they have no message. They have no leader. This is your representatives. Absolute trash. That's what this is. And so, you guys, they continued. And I do mean they just continued. Okay? It didn't get any better. Here's CNN. Now they decide to bring some chicks from way back in the day. Somebody's abuela. Okay? They decide to bring these women up. Why? And now these chicks are also deciding to sue all of a sudden. Can't make it up.
My next guest, as promised, is Maria Farmer, who says Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell sexually assaulted her. So she says she saw Trump at Epstein's office late at night in 1995. At the time, she was 25 years old. Epstein had just hired Farmer, who was an artist, to help him acquire art. Farmer urged the FBI to look at Trump's connections to Epstein twice, in 1996 and again in 2006. Which, of course, means Trump's name could very well be in those government files that the administration is refusing to release. Maria Farmer is now suing the government to try to get the unredacted files about the allegations she brought forward about Epstein. President Trump has not been the target of any investigation related to Epstein, nor has he been accused of any criminal wrongdoing in this case.
Facts.
Maria Farmer is out front now for her first television interview, sharing her story since filing her lawsuit, and she is joined by her attorney, Jennifer Freeman. So thanks very much to both of you. And Maria, I want to give everyone a chance to understand exactly what happened here. I mean, you said that Jeffrey Epstein calls you to come to his office and you go, and then you're sitting there waiting and Donald Trump walks in. What happened?
Yes. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for having me on, Erin. I really appreciate it, because I need to say up front that I've waited 3 decades to be able to even be heard about this, because the government has not held any of the people I reported accountable. And
what? Joe Biden didn't want to hear you? The Democrats didn't want to hear you? Why did you wait 3 decades? Okay? She's been talking longer than a lot of people in my chat have been alive. Why? No, the Democrats didn't want to hear Obama, not Obama. He didn't want to hear you. Shocker.
And so basically the night before I went in, before I began working for Epstein, he called me at very late in the evening and asked me to come up to the Helmsley Palace offices. And I didn't even have money for a subway token. It's kind of embarrassing. So I had to go running up there. And so I told Epstein, I'll be up there. It'll probably take me until like 9. He's like, okay. So I get there and I'm waiting. It's dark. Like there's no light on in the offices. And I thought that was really weird. So I'm seated against the wall in the main part of the offices and just waiting for Epstein. And he says, I'll be out in a minute, you know, and he's got the door closed. And then a few minutes later, this man walks in a business suit, kind of tall, imposing. And I immediately was like, that's Donald Trump. What's he doing here?
Kind of tall.
I'm supposed to be working for Epstein and interviewing with him. Why is Donald Trump here? And he walked up about, you know, a few feet from me and just stood over me in a very imposing way and looked at me like he was in on some secret or something. It was really weird, like smirking kind of. And I felt threatened. So I made an ugly face. And when I made that ugly face, Epstein walked out from the offices on this side. Trump's standing here, I'm here. And he walks out of his office and he goes, oh, no, no, no. He was laughing at me. And he goes, she's not here for you. Follow me, right? And he escorts him in to this other room. And I always wondered, who was she in there?
Why is she telling this story? If you're not here for him, why are you telling this story? Absolutely nonsense. Like CNN, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. He's kind of tall. Trump is absolutely like tall. What is she talking about? They be lying. They are like just absolute liars. I'm trying to refrain. I want to be nice, but an absolute liar. An absolute liar. Like you can't make this stuff up, y'all. Like an absolute liar. Absolutely. So last but not least, you guys, on this subject, all right, before we get into our last topic here, this is what a hot mic caught at CBS when a reporter decided to talk about the whole Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton case, okay? Because for some reason, the Democrats want to sit here and talk to me about Donald Trump when they have absolutely nothing, but forget about their favorite, Bill Clinton. This is what the reporter that got caught on a hot mic had to say, because that other chick just threw me. Here we go.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, it was what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. I had it all 3 years ago. So do I think he was killed? 100%. Yes, I do. Because he made his whole living blackmailing people. Yeah. There were a lot of men in those planes, a lot of men who visited that island, a lot of powerful men who came into that apartment.
And that is where I'll end it on this topic. And that is why there's so much nonsense going on with the Epstein files. And that's because there's too many people that are in high places implicated. Okay? They're all on this. you got to figure out who did what and what did who. And then if you do figure that out, okay, because you can follow the records, and hopefully, Trump also has the financial records, released, because you can follow the money. But if you release all of these things, then what? Then what? What comes after that? Are you arresting people? Are you, taking people's freezing funds? Like, who are these people? Are they part of corporations? Like, it's so much. And that's the reason why we have so much drama going on with the Epstein case. Now, it's funny that this is CNN. I'm not CNN. I'm sorry. CBS again. Okay. Because CBS, just like I showed the other day on my live, literally CBS has stopped real journalists from doing good work. You can't report on it. They don't want you releasing a story. They did it with Hunter Biden. Okay. I was just talking about that the other day on the live, where Hunter Biden tried to say the laptop was fake. That was another Russia hoax, that the laptop was fake and it was something from Russia when it was actually real. And when the CBS reporter wanted to report on it, they wouldn't let her report on it. Like, you can't make it up. CBS has been stifling people for years. Good journalism. Whether these women are liberal or not, they did the work. They had the information and couldn't even report on it. And that's because of who it is. But if it was Donald Trump, they would have let it loose. But it is what it is. So you guys get that in the comments and let me know what you thought about all of that. CNN and their bias and their censorship with censoring Tulsi Gabbard and not letting her talk on the live feed and talking over her so their viewers cannot see it and hear it. Let me know what you think about the White House staff, press secretary, going back and forth with Kristen of CNN, who the questions that she asked, I understand that they're so she can continue to get her name out there, but it's asinine and it's disingenuous, because she doesn't ask questions that will actually lead us somewhere. She just asks questions to, I'm gonna leave that one. She just asks questions so she can sow doubt in what people are saying. Because there's something else that I want to say, but I'm gonna be nice today. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about all that. Let me know what you think about Whoopi and the Golden Girls, Sunny Hostin and the crew. All right. Let me know what you think about all of that. Let me go ahead and pull up these super chats really quick. Oh, I read that one. We have a $5 super chat from Brown Eyes. Thank you so much, Miss Brown Eyes. It was the same. Hold on. I don't got my contacts in. It was said that under Nixon Ford debacle, sitting and previous presidents can't be arrested. Have you looked into that? No, I got to look into it. And I got to look into renewing my contacts too, because I can't see. Thank you so much. I appreciate the $5 super chat. Let's see here. Antoine Hardaway, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Antoine, did I say it right? I hope I did. 3 decades, a dark room, and possibly simply mixed up. Who you think it was? Who you think it might have been? And possibly a simple mix-up ago. Right. I suppose that's the reason he left her shoulder. I suppose that's the reason her left shoulder is so displaced as well. Child, I need to get my glasses. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Oh, Lordy. Yeah. Who do you think it might have been? I don't know. When I think about it, I don't think Donald Trump was around that man like that. I really don't. I think these people are lying. However, they're going to keep saying what they're saying. I honestly and truly think that a lot of different politicians and businessmen were around Jeffrey Epstein, but I don't think Donald Trump hanged with him like that. Maybe some parties, maybe certain things, but they're trying to make it seem like they were just like butt buddies. They were stuck at the hip. It's a lie. Like, it's absolutely a lie. Absolutely. But thank you guys for the super chats. And I'm sorry for the last two I butchered, because I definitely need to get my glasses. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and finish this up with the last part here. Let's go ahead and finish it up with Candace Owens. Okay. Now, Candace. When I say, you guys, the people are mad at Candace, people are mad at Candace. Okay. And honestly and truly, I think it's fine. I love it. All right. Candace Owens has the internet going ablaze. And that's because Candace decided that she was going to double down on everything she had been saying about the French president, Mr. Macron, and his wife. And what she had been saying is the fact that she thought that this man's wife was indeed a man. Okay. And so since she has been saying that, people have been listening, they have been lurking, they have been digging into it. And Candace herself even had a whole documentary about it, or a whole docuseries about it. And she collaborated with another French person and reporter, and they decided that they would do a whole series on the president's wife. So I want to start this by letting you guys see what the French media is saying about all of this. All right. The French media, because this has gone global now, the French media is upset, and they want you guys to know that they don't believe a word Candace says. She's a conspiracy theorist and all of this other stuff. Now, there's a lot of things I agree with Candace on. There's a lot of things I don't agree with Candace on. But I will say this, when she believes in something, she gets down to the bottom of it. So I find it very, very interesting that they decided to sue her. But let's hear what France has to say.
Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte have filed a defamation lawsuit against a right-wing US influencer who claimed the French First Lady used to be a man. The complaint, filed in Delaware, says Candace Owens has waged a lie-filled campaign of global humiliation to promote her podcast and expand her frenzied fan base. On Wednesday, Owens said the lawsuit was littered with factual inaccuracies. Well, for more on this, we can bring in our international affairs editor, Douglas Herbert. Doug, tell us then, who is Candace Owens?
She is, as you said, an influencer with millions of followers on her widely listened to and watched YouTube channel. She also has millions of followers on Fox. Now, she would consider herself a conservative influencer. The terms that others often use to describe her are far right and ultra right. And the reason that those terms have been used with her is because her views have tended to align with more radical right views. She has been a fierce critic of Black Lives Matter. She has also expressed real skepticism about the impact of white supremacy in American society. She's been critical of President Donald Trump in the past, but her overall relationship with him is one of perhaps empathy or sympathy. And she's also someone who has been a darling at times of Fox News, the right-wing, I would say, propaganda news channel in the United States. And early on, she was on the conspiracy-linked websites such as InfoWars. Now, InfoWars is something she's distanced herself in years since from those types of websites. And she would like to place herself more on the sort of lucid, rational, clear-headed, conservative side of the spectrum. But her views really would suggest that there's more to it than that. And I say that because in the case of this Brigitte Macron conspiracy theory, which is exactly what it is, she seized it back last year in 2024. And ever since, she's really, she's gone with it, in the sense that earlier this year, January 2025, she started a series on her YouTube channel called Becoming Bridget. And she did it in collaboration with a French journalist. And it's been a series in which she has videos in which she says that she sees that she's laid out the evidence to try to expand upon the series, which, as we all know, living here in France, have been widely circulating really ever since Macron came to power in 2017. The theory that Brigitte never really existed, right? Who did exist was her brother, Jean-Michel Troneux, as he was born. He had a sex change. He changed to become a woman and assumed the identity of who we now today call Brigitte Macron, the First Lady of France. It is a patently, egregiously ungrounded, false, unsubstantiated theory. It's exactly that, a conspiracy theory. But it has gained traction because for a lot of people, she is wildly popular, and her fans, as they often do with people who are very articulate and very persuasive in their arguments, are able to gain a lot of people who sort of latch on to her and don't let go. They really believe whatever she will tell them.
So Frenchie here, okay, decides that he's going to say that she's an ultra-right. I don't know what an ultra-right is, but a ultra-right wing person, and that, you know, she really doesn't know what she's talking about and things like that. Now, like I said, I don't agree with everything Candace Owens does, but Candace Owens absolutely has been right about a lot of stuff. All right. So with that being said, that's how the Frenchies, okay, well, the liberal ones, okay, because the liberals, they're the exact same in Europe. I swear to goodness. If you ever go to Europe, stay away from certain places like Paris and the UK. It's a waste of time. So that's what they feel like, you know, Candace Owens is. And this is their introduction of telling the mainstream audience who Candace Owens is. All right. She's an ultra right. Okay. An ultra right conspiracy theorist. Now, with that being said, I want to get into what Candace actually said as far as it goes in detail with clapping back. Okay. Because Candace Owens did just that. This is what she said after receiving the lawsuit. Here we go.
You were born a man and you will die a man. That's the point I'm making. So give us a sample. I'll send my doctors to take your blood. Figure it out real quick, however you want to go about this. Hey, how about just giving us some pictures again of you growing up, raising your children? That would be fine. For whatever reason, to phone, by the way, like I said, we'll get to the bottom of it, right? That is what discovery is for. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. You're probably hoping, this will go away and at least we'll say we sued her. We'll say we went after her. She'll probably file for this to get dismissed. I'd like to make it to discovery. Mm-hmm. I think that we owe that to the world. Anyways, you guys, we are revolting against this. We're revolting against the perverts that run the world. Now, I want to be very clear here. I count you among them. I think you're sick. I think you're disgusting. And I am fully prepared to take on this battle on behalf of the entire world. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. On behalf of the entire world, I will see you in court.
And Candace said world with a T. When a girl says anything with a T at the end, you know she means business. I love it. Like, I love it. I love it. Right? And at the end of the day, here's the thing. Candace can go ahead and fight this fight, right? She has the resources. She has the backing. You know, she's not losing sleep over this, right? A lot of different journalists don't have that. So if Candace has the means to do it, why not? I enjoyed the series about Kamala, okay? We all knew Kamala was not black. We can all clearly see that. However, Candace decided to go ahead and spend the money and find out. And it was a great series. All right. And I think because Candace does have the resources and the eyeballs, that the media absolutely hates what's going on. They absolutely hate what's going on. And they absolutely hate that Candace is allowed to do these things. They absolutely hate it. Okay. But in my personal opinion, I hope Candace keeps going. Now, the media will tell you whatever, and they'll tell you what she said. I want you guys to actually see what she said that has this lawsuit and the Macrons so heated, okay? That has the French liberals so heated. I want you to see what she actually said. And it's so funny because Candace does the same hand things I do. It's a woman thing. Here you go.
So regarding Brigitte Macron, who has now changed her face, as we learned, we know that she's seeing this doctor, she's getting feminization surgery. This is a good way. And plus, she's now in her 80s, right? And we've got only pictures from her childhood, only pictures of Jean-Michel Trogneau from his childhood. When you compare this with the tech returns this way. It tells us that this is a high probability, and this is with dentured teeth, different teeth, right? It is telling us that this is this boy in this school photo, okay? This is this boy in this school photo. It is returning from normal to high, highest being there at 17.3%. And that's just with the school photo and with years of work. Okay. We're not even comparing this to the school photos when she still had the teeth that you see there on the left-hand side, right? When Brigitte still had teeth. This is with a ton of work being done by the magician to the transgendered community, right? The guy that can make you a woman. He looks at you, looks at women like they're clay. And it is still certain that that is Brigitte Macron. Okay, that little boy became Brigitte Macron. It is also certain that the woman in the wedding photo, so more aged on, Brigitte Trogneau, who married Andre Louis, is not the First Lady Brigitte Macron that we see today. It is returning low probability that these are the same people. What's going on here? What do you mean it's returning low probability? This maybe gives us the answer to why she will not answer. She will not join a lawsuit and assert formally by just saying, that is me in the photo, okay? She will not answer my questions as we've had our legal team go out and we have said, we don't want to lie. Just like Xavier, we're not here in the business to spread lies, okay? Doesn't help me. Doesn't make my audience want to come back to my show when I get busted intentionally lying and defaming someone for the sheer sport of it. Help me help you, Brigitte. Is this you in the wedding photo? She doesn't want to answer that question. Okay. Well, if we turn to AI technology, the reason why she's not answering that question is because it's not her in the photo. Okay. That is somebody else. And that somebody else went by the name Brigitte Trogneau. So it's very interesting. Jean-Michel Trogneau at that wedding. We're not allowed to see any photos of him at that wedding because apparently all photos have been destroyed other than 2 lingering photos of of Andre Louis, and same for Brigitte Trogneau. We are just finding that despite all photos that should be made available, we can't even get our hands on school photos.
Child, when I tell you this was hilarious, it was hilarious. But here's the thing. A lot of people are saying, well, why does Candace care? All right, because all these people are implemented in the same thing that you liberals keep saying that you care about. You keep saying that you care about PDF files. You keep saying that you care about young girls being trafficked. You keep saying that you care about, the wealthy doing this and the wealthy taking over that and the oligarchy and all of this stuff. Well, they're a part of that as well. Okay, this is a global thing. This is not just America. Okay. It's not just America. It's global. All right. The same thing that's happening in America with immigration, it's already happened in Europe. Paris looks like trash. So does the UK in certain areas, right? And that's because those things have already happened. It's just now happening here. We've been dealing with it on a grand scale for like the last, 5 or so years, but they've already been doing it. Their feminism, their last 4th, 5th wave, whatever, is already there. Okay. You can't type certain things. You can't say certain things. You can't write certain things about the opposition. Okay. Or the liberals will come after you. They're jailing people, putting people in jail. Yeah. That stuff is already happening. So the things that you guys say that you care about, the Macrons are in that as well. All right. Now, of course, you have conspiracy theories and all this other stuff. And because the Macrons are in, along with all the rest of the stuff, that's another thing that came up. And so Candace just decided to follow down the rabbit hole on that. That was her thing. Yeah. So, I mean, you guys, at the end of the day, Candace has the right to do whatever she wants, right? Here in this country, we have freedom of speech, we have freedom of press, all right? And to say that she's defaming this woman is it's a stretch. Okay? It's a stretch because Candace actually believes that this is a man. All right? And by keeping that open line of communication, asking, well, what about this photo? What about this? What about this? What about this? Is no different than any other journalist or any other person that deems themselves in the press, asking something that the public wants to know. These are public figures. CNN does it all the time. Well, the public interest. If you go on Bald-Headed Reasoning, Abby's program, well, they're just asking what the public wants to know. You know how Abby talks. Scott, the public just wants to know. Okay, well, the public is interested in this for whatever reason. The public is interested in it. And Candace decided to follow that down the rabbit hole. So if she loses, she loses. She loses. But I'm interested to see them go to discovery. I want to see them go to discovery and actually prove this. Because now that you have sued and Candace does not seem to be backing down, they will go to discovery. So what will we find in discovery? Will it go that far? I'm really interested to see it now. Let's go. What do you guys think in the chat? You think it will go that far? I don't. And I could be wrong, but I think once they actually have to start putting things out, oh no. Mm-mm. I don't think they're going to let it. Yeah, they want to exhaust her. Exactly. But Candace is fine. Yeah, I don't think it's going to go that far. Simeon, you think it's going to go that far? You got better faith than I do. You guys got way more faith than I do. Because I don't think they're going to go that far. I think they're going to drop it. OG Life, you think they're going to settle? Okay. Jerry, I agree with you. I mean, you guys, some of you guys could be right. Some of you guys could be wrong. But I'm interested in seeing where it goes. I definitely am. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about all of this. What do you think about what Candace is saying? What do you think about what the French media is saying? What do you think about her findings on Macron's wife? Okay. And this AI technology that she's using. What do you guys think about that? Have you researched this AI technology? When I tell you I've done a lot on this stuff, I've done a lot. It's just that I can't possibly sit here in an hour or two and go down the rabbit hole with you guys. It would be a long time. It would be a long time. But I'm with it. I want to see where it goes. I'm definitely interested, just like I was here for the Kamala files. Okay. I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about all of this stuff. Like, I think it's going to be very entertaining. I really do. But I'll just say this. I want to say this to you guys. The Democrats are a shady bunch. And they're a shady bunch because they don't care about Jeffrey Epstein. They don't care about his victims. They don't even care about us wanting to actually know. There's absolutely nothing they have done or currently doing that suggests that they want to do anything. They don't have a plan. They don't have any type of logical reasons to why, everything in America is going awry or isn't going right and what they're going to do about it. Trump is such a threat to democracy. They don't have a plan for that. They just jump on the next story. They're worse than CNN. Actually, CNN is much better. They at least have, everything, all their ducks lined up in a row, what they're going to say, how they're going to, execute it. The Democrats have absolutely nothing and they give nothing. And they want the American people to sit here and go for this nonsense. It's absolutely wild. It's absolutely wild. Yeah, ski report, I agree. Yeah. So it's absolutely wild. But, I'm here for it. I think it's going to be very good. I really do. And I'm hoping that this ushers in, a new wave of government with everything that's going on. Everything is getting exposed. I hope that it just opens up a new door to say, hey, we need to be transparent with the American people, or they're going to keep pushing until they get it. I like it. I love it. So you guys, thank you so much for pulling up. I appreciate it. Actually, I want to send you guys home with this. All right. I want to send you guys with this really quick before we go.
Classified information.
It was classified at the time it was sent and received.
Secretary Clinton said there was nothing marked classified on her emails, either sent or received. Was that true?
That's not true. 110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
When I got to work as Secretary of State, I opted for convenience to use my personal email account because I thought it would be easier to carry just one device for my work and for my personal emails instead of two.
Secretary Clinton said she used just one device. Was that true?
She used multiple devices during the 4 years of her term as Secretary of State.
I didn't have to turn over anything. I chose to turn over 55,000 pages of my email, but we turned over everything that was work-related, every single thing.
Secretary Clinton said all work-related emails were returned to the State Department. Was that true?
No, we found work-related emails, thousands, that were not returned.
What, like with a cloth or something? Well, no.
You get a subpoena, and after getting the subpoena, you delete 33,000 emails, and then you acid wash them.
Everything he just said is absolutely false.
Secretary Clinton said neither she nor anyone else deleted work-related emails from her personal account. Was that true?
The email software was removed. That didn't remove the email content. The effect was that millions of email fragments ended up in the server's unused or slack space.
Child, we could just keep going on and on and on and on. It's wild. It's so wild. But this is who the Democrats want to say is better than Donald Trump. It's a shame. Thank you so much, Jerry, for the $1.99 super chat. Great show, Mika. Proud of you. Thank you so much, Jerry. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you guys for pulling up. I just had that up there because it's going in one of my other files. When I see stuff or things that I forgot and now I can remember the video, I put it up. And I was just looking at that and I was just like, you can't make it up. The woman is a liar. The Democrats, they just lie. All right. And they're all in this bag together. Okay. So I hope Donald Trump arrests them all. Thank you guys for popping up, showing out. I appreciate you guys. We had a great number of people in here today. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Artifacts. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Nick J. Thank you, Loud and Clear. Thank you, Got Flavor. Thank you, Way More. Thank you, Quick Fix. Thank you. I think that says Jaquin. Thank you, Simeon. Thank you, War is Peace. Thank you, James Robinson. T is Focused. Thank you, Brother Reg of OG Life Japan. One day you got to tell me what that name means. Thank you, Quick Fix. Thank you, Marquavius. Thank you. Let's see here. Thank you, Ski Report. Thank you to Ian. Yep, that's his Ian. Thank you, way more. Thank you, Lord. It's a lot. Thank you, Magnificent Gaming. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you to the super chatters, Brown Eyes, Antoine Hardaway, way more. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Who else in here? See if I can try to get some more people. Who else is in here? Thank you, dear woke Christian. I appreciate it. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Woo, it's a lot. Okay. Brown Mamba, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Tyrone. Thank you. Thank you. I think I got a lot of you guys because I would have to scroll. Thank you, Brown Eyes. Thank you, Q Original. Thank you, Shadow Dragon TV. Thank you, OG Hot Rod. Thank you, LL Unk Man. Y'all have some wild names, I swear. But thank you guys so much for pulling up. I do appreciate you guys. I will be, thank you, Travis. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Mia. Thank you, James Robinson, Sterling. Thank all of you guys. Thank you, Outlaw. I think I said T is focused, but thank you too. I think that's Shakita or Shakia. Thank you so much. Amp Stars. Katrina, thank you all you guys. I appreciate you guys. I will be on tonight on After Hours with Anton Daniels and the crew. So if you are up that late and you like that type of content, come on over and see me over there. But again, thank you guys for following, liking, and subscribing to the Red Cup. I appreciate everyone. Thank you so much. As always, it's your girl Mika, and I'm out. Peace.